Not all sunshines and rainbows, you do have to sometimes have difficult conversations. Still got the snail slime lines on the floor. Some areas of the floor look like they haven't been vacuumed properly either, so I don't know if these people have just got an issue of vacuuming or they're scared of vacuuming or something.
This is why I got into property.
So there's a one-bedroom bungalow. These would have been valued at 200. They've been getting 270s, 280s, 290s. Do you want the truthful answer that some of you are not going to like?
Going into the rest of this month and then into September.
So this meeting was quite difficult because in our contracts we have clauses in our contracts that say every year we can have an annual rent review and the landlord can look to increase the rents. But on this particular properties that we were looking at, we wanted to try and keep the rents the same the best we could because of the way that the margins were going to be and the amount of profit that we could make. So we had to have a very, very difficult meeting about how we could negotiate around the rents, negotiate with the landlords the best way of moving forward to keep them happy with us keeping their property as well as keeping obviously us happy and our investors happy by the margins working out the best it possibly could as well. So throughout this meeting there were a lot of back and forth, we did a lot of different things, but at the end of the day we did come to a conclusion which was very helpful. But it's just another one of the sides to actually do being in property. It's not all sunshines and rainbows, you do have to sometimes have difficult conversations and do these kind of difficult things.
But yeah, we just need to work out an agreement about moving forward. So obviously the properties weren't performing as well as we thought they were going to be without parking. Yeah. So we've had to sort something out and arrange a new form of agreement with them to sort out parking spaces as well. That side of it is obviously where we have now, but we need to sort out new agreements in terms of furniture side of it, and we need to include the furniture in the rent rather than actually buying the furniture off them, because it seems pretty silly as actually buying the furniture off them. And then we need to sort out extra rent for parking. So
like they said, they're running them as holiday lets, and that's why they want to get rid of the furniture, innit?
They understand and can kind of see the market a little bit, really. Like obviously there is more legislation and more restrictions coming into play, so maybe they are changing to come away from that as the market gets more saturated, and then as legislation comes in to change it. It's going to be one or two things when stuff come in. It's either like the people that are doing it correctly absolutely thrive, or the government's going to wipe it out completely. If they do that, then it's silly because
there's such a demand for it.
What they're going to do is shut down Airbnb as a business. Like, it's not going to work like that. So I think that people are obviously cottoning onto it a little bit more, so they're probably going to just tax the hell out of it a little bit more or something. But that wasn't an easy meeting, that wasn't an easy conversation. That was difficult to try and even give us the chance to kind of change the agreement a little bit, really, and push around with it. But yeah, nice and tough, that one, wasn't it? Like when it comes to like looking at the type of market that we target with the contracts and that kind of thing, when we actually put the properties out there, like we can't properly say that we've got free parking when it's paid parking next to it.
Even though it's technically free.
It's technically free because we say yes, we will reimburse you the parking charges. It's not free parking, so it won't come up on the properties, it won't come up on the searches. Whereas if we have the spaces that we're talking about,
it's one of them. People say, "Oh, just put free parking," but if you do that, it leads to bad reviews. It's actually not free parking, and you're just hindering yourself in the long term with that as well.
So yeah. I mean, that's what obviously when it comes to the marketing side of it, you show. It's like if someone goes on the filter of Airbnb and Booking.com and goes size of property, number of guests, oh yeah, I want parking, which is a thing that a lot of people will just click, because especially these areas, maybe not so much in London, but in these areas people expect free parking. So when they're coming in and travelling, even though this is like a stone throw away from the train station, it's like we can't.
Yeah, you can't really get any more central than this, really.
You can't, so we need
It's literally a 2-minute walk and you're on the high street.
So having parking with this is going to be perfect, and it accommodates for so many more different things. And again, it all comes back to that, putting yourself into the client's shoes, putting yourself into the headspace of the guest and going, okay, well, what are they going to want? What are they going to want to see? What's going to make these people click on my property more than clicking on anything else? And I think that is the key thing that we've got to be thinking about. So yes, we might pay a little bit more in rent, but if we get a parking space with it, then it's going to be so much better.
Like when we come to like negotiating the new terms with it, I think there will be a bit more understanding with it. Although yes, they'll probably want an increase because they're providing parking now, but it's in their benefit as well.
The more the property performs, the less headaches it's going to be. So obviously negotiating the rent in the right way, obviously before having the furniture payments in there was making cash flow so much less and so much harder to deal with, and then now we're able to manage this in the right way, we'll be able to get it sorted. In these kind of things, you have like these uncomfortable conversations, and you need to do this in business in general. And when one side want one thing and one side want another, it's going into it, like I've said loads of times before, with like a blank piece of paper mindset. Don't go into it really restrictive and rigid on what you want. Like say, look, this is what we were thinking, I know what are you guys thinking, asking more questions, and then being able to come up with a win-win solution. And there's obviously keeping the property is better than having to give it back. So
Yeah, exactly.
working on these different things is all important, and we do this all the time with our landlords. Like we want to make sure that everyone's got like equal terms, everyone's on the same terms with things. So we'll move forward, we'll progress, and we'll make sure that everyone's happy, because at the end of the day that is business. It needs to be win-win arrangement. So yeah, it's really key to go into these things not being selfish and to be open to different ideas from different people. Okay. Remember the last time we came in here? Them bins were so bad.
I'm actually so pissed off at the cleaning team for this.
Windows could do with a cleaner. Still got the snail slime lines on the floor. Looks better than what it did last time we came in. A big thing that we have issues with, not just in this property but all properties, especially like when you're focusing on houses, is you need gardeners to obviously come and do your gardening, and it's really annoying to get them done regularly, because this is obviously at the back of the property, but when you get properties that have got gardens at the front of the property, that's the first thing that a guest can see. And if the garden's overgrown and looks a bit shabby, then that's the first thing that is going to instantly put negative thoughts into their head. So getting the gardens done regularly and having regular maintenance teams to come in and do it is important. But we're lucky with this one that there's actually back access to the property there, so the gardener doesn't have to come through the house each time, because obviously that would leave a lot of mess everywhere. But it's good that the gardener's keeping on top of it and that we don't have to worry too much about of it, and then we just get invoiced every single month. But sometimes we'll go and do like little spot checks on properties like this, and we'll see that the garden hasn't been done, and it's just another issue and another problem to deal with really. And this is why it's so important having the cleaning team in play, and the cleaning team being that essential piece of your team, because if they let you know about things like that happening, if they let you know about kind of the things in the property not being there, like James just mentioned that there wasn't a toilet roll holder, there's toilet rolls on the back of the toilet. It's like, if they let us know that these things are happening, then we can get as maintenance team and we can get things sorted. That's why it is important to do spot checks, because there is such thing as human error. At the same time, this is just where we need to constantly improve our systems and processes. We have been running this business for like 2 years now, 2 and a bit years, but the idea is that when you zoom out a little bit more and you really look at the general scheme of how these things work, 2 years is nothing in business. And now of us just refining our processes, refining our kind of procedures and stuff in place, and making it more and more systemized as time goes on. So we will be doing more stuff around this. We will be doing more like training and education videos for the cleaners as well. And even in that meeting before that you'll have just seen some clips of, we were actually talking about how we're going to potentially look at actually hiring an in-house cleaner, which is going to be a really weird concept for us, because we need to basically hire like a head cleaner to manage the actual checkouts and manage the cleaners, and then have everything else with it as well. But that is going to be kind of a big next step in the direction, because that brings laundry facilities and everything else into play. So we'll see about that. There's a lot of different things to think about, but some areas of the floor look like they haven't been vacuumed properly either. So I don't know if these people have just got an issue of vacuuming, or they're scared of vacuuming or something, but they just don't seem to do it. I know from the meeting before that we had, we're going to get 2 parking spots just outside of the flats, one for flat 6 and one for flat 2. She's going to want to look at a rent review. Obviously it was like it's in the contract to review it per annum anyway. Then there's the furniture stuff that if we're not buying it, they're going to want to look to put in a little bit more. I kind of dropped to the hint of like £50.
Just cobwebs on the lights. The video doesn't show it.
Stinks bucket. This is why I got into property.
Oh, I don't know why I agreed to do these things. Oh, we're heading down to Birmingham. I need a coffee. I can't even speak to you guys right now. But, yeah. Coffee first.
So I think networking comes in so many different forms or another, and here is like one where we've got an opportunity here. There's a load of different property investors around, all kind of really eager and keen to learn more about property and getting into the property space, and spending time with us mentors as well. So being able to do it and in the gym at the same time is very, very nice. So the early start It was worth it. We got a coffee, we got here, we're ready to go. But yeah, some of the stuff we're going to see today is going to be class. I'm going to get so much knowledge, and obviously we'll try and share as much of that with you guys as we can. But let's try and shift a little bit away, shall we? Yeah, so we've just finished in the gym. We've just been doing gym session networking. It was more like fun challenges, really. I'm not going to bullshit you. We want networking, really. And we all know each other anyway, but it's a good kind of like way to meet people and you bond over different stuff, don't you? But I've just actually been posting some stuff out about the Source Your Own program that we run. So you'll have seen some little bits about it in previous videos, and we're doing like mentoring calls and Zoom calls with people and stuff. But obviously one of the primary strategies that we've done and we've built on and we know kind of inside out is rent service accommodation. So taking a property on, leasing it through a company let agreement, and then renting it out on platforms like Airbnb, booking.com, and getting direct bookings and that kind of thing. So I thought there's a bit of a gap in the market here, because you have deal sourcing, which does finding the property deals, and then you have kind of like, say I do my online course in service accommodation marketing, that kind of thing, which helps people kind of make their properties make more money. But what we need to do is have a product that bridges the gap. So hence why I've created the Source Your Own program. So it's working with people. Instead of going to the shop and buying a fish or buying the deal, for example, you're buying the fishing rod and you're learning to fish and you're understanding that sourcing process. And then once you understand the sourcing process a little bit more, then it's actually about making the property make money and that kind of thing as well. So it's giving you the A to Z of the actual investing in rent service accommodation, and we give you the guarantee as well that we will work with you until you find a deal and find an opportunity. So if this is something that you're interested in, will be a link down in the description, and we can have a chat about whether it's going to be something that will work for you. But it's definitely something that is really powerful with the people that we are working with at the minute.
You left it alive in the car behind you, got the roof wrap. Yeah. I can see it. So I was invited to come and see Steve Hamilton's ground up development. So he has invested in this project. It wasn't solely his project, but he invested in this project of building 14 bungalows from the ground up. And it was really interesting to see, because obviously eventually I would love to get into them kind of remits of being able to buy a plot of land, get planning permission, and actually build on these kind of property, build on these kind of sites. But there is so much that goes into that type of stuff, and there's so much that you don't even think about, which is really key to learn about now, so obviously you don't make the mistakes further down the line.
So there's a 1-bedroom bungalow. These would have been valued at 220. They've been getting 270s, 280s, 290s. Very desirable. There's only 2 left. The last one the other day I just moved into there.
Obviously there's the generic stuff of like posting letters or Facebook ads and these kind of things, but is there any other kind of tips and tricks for?
Do you want the truthful answer that some of you are not going to like?
Go for it.
And it's credibility. Let's say I go to Paul Car and I buy a house from Paul Car. Then the next week I go and buy a house from Paul Car. Then the next week I buy a house from Paul Car, and I have a track record with Paul Car. Eventually Paul Car's going to go like, see, listen, I've got loads of direct to vendorship. It's not even on the market. Here you go, there's the number, do a deal, give me a drink. It's all about who he knows, what he knows. He's been around, he's been in the industry since 1985. Yeah.
And that is the end of the video, guys. I'm currently in Corfu. I'm about to be coming back home, but I've had an awesome holiday this last week. The guys will be filming something at home, and we will be talking about it and documenting it, so make sure you are tuned in for next week's video. So make sure you like the video, subscribe, let us know what kind of content, or if you've got any questions about the content that you've seen today. I'm always replying to people in the comments below, and I will speak to you guys soon.